Well, good morning, everyone. I hope I'm coming through okay. Got a little bit of morning voice, and I had a little bit of extra time this morning. I wanted to can't stop thinking about relics from the deck and playing. I we've been playtesting Fox's Life, and that's something you can't really. We've been wanting to stream all of that. Like I don't want to stream that without Smalley, and so when I've got a little bit of time between other things for myself, I've been working on relics. And the reason I've been working on relics instead of space aces is it seems like a lot of people want an update for relics. I want to make stuff that people play. That's one of my ultimate goals for development is if people don't play something I spent 100,000 hours developing, I haven't done that for anything yet, but I what's the point, right? Like, of course, there's some fulfillment of finishing a project and everything, but I've finished so many projects, like I don't get the same the same feeling as publishing a simple small project as I do with something that people actually play. And what I like about Relics is it's something I can talk about with everyone else. We've got a channel on the Brick Masons Discord. I think there's a link to that in the chat, hopefully, or in the description. And anybody that is on the Brick Masons can come to the Relics channel and just talk. Just say, "Hey, I really hate this card," and that's fair. You know, not every card is good right now. Actually, most of them are kind of bad. Um, with games like this, they're balanced by a copious amount of playtesting and data collection. The problem I have is I don't have a huge sample size of playtesters or of data. It's not really easy to collect data from other people, especially like on Realms, for example. If they play the map on Realms, I'm not getting any of that data. I don't know. I don't even know how many people play on Realms. They don't have that information anymore. So information like that is really beneficial when people come in and say maybe it's a card they don't fully understand. That could be part of it. And that just tells me I need to make it more clear, right? So, long story short, if you join the Brick Masons Discord, I think probably most people that are watching this are already there. But it's a good way to discuss anything relics related. If you like this, hear the music kick. I'm gonna turn it down. So here we are in the deck builder. This is the latest version, which is awesome. The thing I wanted to make sure for relics is, or for all the maps, is developing the latest version. But that took a lot of work. Making this work in the latest version, I had to kind of rewrite everything because of the data change. Now, of course, I could skip. I guess I shouldn't say rewrite everything. Everything related to the item data, and there's still things I don't even have set up right. Like, for example, I don't know if it was this way before, but when you hover over a block, it doesn't show you the item data it has, which I don't know why not. Like it should show you the health, right? So it's 2 cost, 2 health should be in the hover. I also have changed the icon for these. This is kind of working, work in progress, and maybe we'll work on that today. Make it so that anything that's a buff will be, like for example, bread. That's technically a buff, even though it doesn't make the most sense to be a buff. It will have an icon, maybe not on the actual card. I mean, it would make sense to do that too. But the main thing is when you're in that menu, like you can't tell what's an entity. Actually, the entities are the easiest to find, but what's a building, what's an attack, and what's just a normal defense, so like a trap, a web trap, for example, that's kind of hard to tell. So maybe we'll make some icons for each of those things. have a parent model that displays what it is. I kind of like that you can see roughly what an entity's stats are, and you see a little bit of discrepancy. I thought I changed the cobblestone. I guess I didn't. But like baby magma cube, I changed it from 2 to 1. There's gonna be a bunch of balance changes. This is gonna be maybe the biggest balance change patch to date. And actually, the reason for these balance changes are, well, we got to speed this game up. It's too easy to get into kind of a stalemate. So we're kind of reworking a lot of these cards to make them better. So, looking at my VS Code, what we're doing. I've got a couple things we can do. So, I want to do new card traits. So let me find it. Like dolphin. Let's look at dolphin. This right here is aquatic. That means the mob, which is kind of fitting with the music we're playing. The mob will be buffed by anything aquatic. So, for example, dolphin buffs aquatic entities by giving them 1 health and 1 max health. This is kind of a I don't know, not my favorite card. I might change it to a Jason. I might change it to something else, because it's kind of a bad card generally, but you place down enough dolphins and then it's like really strong. It's almost like a buff that is also an entity, which I feel like aquatic is the last thing that needs this. If there was a maybe one for like one of the other traits, and we can look at the traits actually. Stop the music for a second. So here's are the effects, buffs and debuffs. Then we have traits. So ambush, like that's like wolf. The entity, you place it down on the board and then it can immediately attack, which actually is a really nice, pretty nice card. I need to add one that is a high cost ambush, because the cheapest ambush card right now is, or the most expensive one is wolf, I think. I don't think there's a more expensive ambush. Well, I guess creeper, but that kind of isn't the point of things. You got emeralds, so can be buffed by emeralds, fireproof, immune to fire, flying, entity will not trigger traps. Gold, I don't really like this trait. It's good to have. I want to change or expand how many maybe like how many piglins are there, because it's kind of a problem when there's only 2 cards that synergize with this. That's why it's so cheap. Ender, the entity will attempt to travel when damaged. This is almost like a debuff. I might add a balance to this, so like there's a pro and a con. Maybe it's immune to something, I don't know. Undead reacts oppositely to instant and damage. They're healing and damage. Aquatic, buffed by aquatic traits. That's what. And then entity is immune to wither damage. So with all of these, we can just kind of add more. It will be kind of annoying as the menu gets longer and longer. Maybe we'll think about a way to rework these. I'll just keep extending it. We can just change the parents. I gave myself all the quests just to have them, make sure they're kind of working. Okay. So yeah, we've got those. We can draw the building or the type icon. I think we kind of just need to open GIMP no matter what we're doing. And I think we just draw all of them. I'm actually streaming too. Says I am. Okay, we're good. One view is probably myself. Okay. Let's see if will GIMP pick up. Oh, it did. Oh, that is really funny looking. Uh, no, we don't need. That's what I want to see. So, if I open up the data pack or the well, hmm, let's work on the resource pack. I don't know why. I have got these hard linked so that whenever I make a change in the data pack, it should copy to or symbolic linked copy to the other place. It just hasn't been doing that, and I think that's because my entire resource pack folder is sim linked, which kind of stinks to other places. Like my main Minecraft one is sim linked so that it's copied to my Modrinth one because I don't want two sets of resource packs on my computer. Okay, fine. Textures. Hopefully it's an item. This is that was a fox's life. Relics. Oh, there we go. Textures item. Okay. Ambush look like that. I think these are 8x8s if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they're 10x10. Did I just do, yeah, show grid. Yeah, they're 8x8. Okay. So we have ambush. Let's go ahead and delete that. How do we do a building? I think just like a solid block, right? Okay. And I think why not make it look like maybe stone bricks, actually. That'd be really easy. Sir. Too light. Let's fill it in. Make it a little bit darker. Remember, there's a tiny bit of blue in it. Okay. And we'll get the dark. And we'll go like this. I think. So it's a little bit high on the contrast, but that works. I like that. Export that. And this would be... I do think we should put these in a trait folder. I know it's not set up that way right now. Trait folder. Would we put these in trait? Let's go ahead and just make them all in trait. And this would be type. I think is the wording that we use for it. Anytime there's a building, that's where it kind of stinks because I have all of these in the same card folder and it's like a million folders, but you just use the find Windows search. Okay, so there's a building. And then we need a trap. Maybe cobweb? I think that's the most... Ooh. Maybe not. Because I think we'll use the cobweb for that actually. But I like the oh back a little. There's gonna eventually be a arthropods uh, icon, so maybe trap isn't the best way to handle that. So we've got like what weather trap, lava pocket. Then you have the four horsemen trap. mm. Wither trap is pretty strong too. What about the ominous skull? Let's run back to Minecraft real quick. The particle effect. Particle vault connection. Hero account 200. Oh, there you go. Man, that is a very subtle particle. Change the music too. Oh, amethyst for a little. Okay, what's the ominous spawning? Oh, that's actually kind of cool. Kind of a cool particle effect, actually. Trial Omen. That's what I want. Okay, so something kind of like that. That wouldn't be too bad. Back at Gimp. It was something maybe red. Kind of like this. Now, could I scale that up? I should be able. I don't see what. Looks like kind of derpy. Oh, that looks really dumb. Like 1 pixel too high. Oh, that's not bad. We'll make that work for now. Worst case scenario, we can always change. Maybe we'll try to set these up. Kind of looks like a snake, which is go normal red, but a little bit lighter. I say it's losing because there's textures. Let's go back to that other. That's what I need. So we'll export this one to trap. Okay, nice. So we've got our trap, our building. Then we have buff, which I think just what, green arrow up, make it better. Because blue is usually speed. Green is kind of like, that could be a handful of, like, XP, jump. But just general buff, I think we can make that. Especially if we do something kind of like this. Maybe we don't do something. Do this. I don't know. Let's do a mini version of that. Because I think being that big. The building can be okay because it's such a light color. Full color scheme. I'm really supposed to like change the hue and stuff. I'm not getting paid enough for that right now. Ooh, that's. I think I like it better with just the solid green. Honestly, leave it. Buff. And then maybe like a target for attack. We've got red already for the trap. Should have made that maybe like dark green. We could make the trap orange though. Or the attack orange. White. The problem is it's because it's centered. Let me look at the other things real quick. Are they all? Yeah, they do all kind of fill up the whole space. I like this. Is that telling the player that if you use this, you're targeting an entity to do damage? Or, you know, directly attacking? Kind of. I mean, it's a target. Give that other one. Right in the middle. We'll call that. That would be your attack. And then we just have entity, which I don't know if we keep that or if we even have an entity one or if that's just kind of self-explanatory. We could do like a spawn egg. That would have kind of the same as the arrow. What is this? The spawn egg. And yeah, kind of like that. Maybe that. Move it up a. So we've got our color like this, and then we just we make it black and white because then it's kind of neutral to any mob that it could be. I mean, it looks like a gas spawning. I actually kind of like it. Let's make this more gray. I think. So by doing that, it's a very neutral, like can be anything type of. Now the other ones are so much detail in them. That I need to worry about. kind of. Yeah, maybe I should. But we can open them all at once. It's an entity spawning or entity type. And then maybe we'll just go ahead and throw these traits on the just get them exported. And that's a little too green. Golden. That. So the first trait that I'm going to be adding is passive. So this is any mob that can be placed anywhere. Why write that on like several cards? If it's a single mob that can do that, okay, fine. That's a special thing. But if it's going to be like a good handful of mobs close to the end, kind of works. But if it's going to be like every other mob, it's kind of an archetype, right? There's a bunch of mobs like that. It's green. And so because of that, why not just go ahead and just make it a little bit easier. Yeah, sure. And so that's going to be kind of a lot of the simplification of some of these mobs being able to do stuff like that. Now, technically, the passive trait is completely separate from the data that is where the entity can be spawned, right? So we just have to make sure those actually line up. Yeah, it just kind of doesn't. It's just something I need to worry about on my end. Right? So I like that, passive. Then here's a kind of a hard one. We talked about it already, but arthropod. How do we showcase something being an arthropod? I don't know. Maybe we do that. Problem is, like, you either do it close and then it looks okay, and then this just looks like a mess, right? Checkerboard. Oop. Okay. What if we do more like this? I mean, that's the best I think I can do. It's such a small area to work with. uh, do I like that version more, or do I like the full version? Like, this one is a lot fatter in the middle, but I think the other version. Now I have to, because I used undo. Okay. So the main perk of arthropod is that it is immune to slowness, and that'll kind of make spider and cave spider. And I'm gonna give it to silverfish as well. I might give it to creeper. I've always thought creepers are obviously fake, right? They're not a real creature. But wouldn't it be kind of cool if they were arthropods in game sense? Because if they were, that means something like Bane of Arthropods on your sword would actually be worth it. If you could one-shot a creeper, I don't think too many people would complain about that. I feel like it would give one of the worst enchantments in the game a little bit of a buff. Okay, where's next? Arthropod Frozen. Okay, that's a good one. Oh, I just deleted my entire notes. There we go. Clicked on the wrong program. Now, Frozen gotta be like icy blue, right? There, maybe a little bit wider. Yeah. And do we want this to be a snowball? Or like an ice block? All the way back to my 2.0 notes. That's what's kind of cool about my big README file is every time I make an update, I just push the other notes down. So you can kind of read like the whole history of every card. And I want to write, or I have been writing any changes I want to make. Kind of like the idea behind. Why did this get changed? So that players can kind of understand a little bit like, why did he make this card overpowered? Or why did he do this? Oh, my coffee's getting cold. I'm talking too much. Let's do an ice block. I think that's give it a little bit. What am I doing? This should just be the main color of the block. Actually, do that. Grab that, and we'll take this and then do a little bit dark. Here we'll do. You know what? We'll just leave this. It's not as detailed as it should be, but I feel like if I add any detail, it just looks stupid. Yeah, I think this will be good. And so Frozen, I don't think it has any actual trait. It's just a link between some of the cold cards because I want to add more traits so that way there could be more interesting dynamics between multiple entities. And I can give a trait as a buff. So like why would you want Frozen even though it doesn't do anything on an entity that is, I don't know, weak to something? Well, maybe it gives it a strength to something else that resists it. I don't know. I'm just allowing future opportunities by adding things like this. I want there to be a lot of complicated, simple building blocks to build something complicated. Is how the design of this game should be. And so if I add something that's like, okay, you have to memorize what this card does, that's not that great. But if it's a trait, then you just know, okay, if I see ice, this is what can happen to it. If I see this other thing, this is what can, right? Okay. So the next thing is evasive. And this is going to be the same as the Phantom's current ability, which is a 50% chance to dodge an attack. So 50-50, does he dodge? Does he survive? I don't like... I'm not the biggest fan of just dice rolls in games like this. Like, they can be fun, don't get me wrong. Like, Thunderstorm, I think, is one of my favorite cards because what can happen can be so, like, impossibly different than what you expect to happen or what you want to happen. And I kind of like things to just go wrong. That's funny to me. That's fun gameplay. But for actual, like, you know, competitive people that probably aren't going to use chance cards like that, unless like the chances are really high. I don't know. Anyways, that brings us to evasive. So that 50% to dodge an attack, and I don't really know what, maybe purple? I know Ender is kind of purple. Let's see. evasive. Now the immediate thing is like it's fast, right? But maybe we can do something like like an arrow that's going around something. So maybe we'll start with the ending arrow. Man, I really don't like this. We don't have very many textures to work with. What if we did something kind of similar? Kind of like a loop-de-loop over here. Oh, that's the ice block scare. So I'm thinking of like something like this. And then this is our arrow. Fill that in, I guess. Man, that doesn't work, does it? Anything else evasive that would work? I'm not certain. This might be the problem. I might be able to lower these 3. Can I not select everything? Hello? Everything. Doing Control A, it just was. Okay, let's play around with this. Maybe we can get, because if we do a hitting caps lock, maybe that's what not working. So bad though. Let's try something else. I mean, maybe just a diagonal, like kind of backwards arrow. And that kind of helps differentiate it from the attack because it's diagonal, but it's also looks stupid. Let's see here. Extra light color. There we go. I see. It just looks like a really goofy pickaxe. Oh no. I don't know. Let's. No, don't do that. That's even more picky. So this is technically darker down here. If we instead of using the full 8 pixels, we make it 2. That. Then what do we shrink? Yelling at me, Windows. Like almost better, but Okay, here's the trick. Look up here. If you look up here, it's actually not terrible. You look right here, it looks absurd. Maybe we'll leave it now. Or keep moving. Okay, export. So Illager is next. So that's kind of easy way to keep the Illagers apart. Like this. My read nose is a little. We can make that work. There you got your big nose. What what color are villagers' eyes? I thought they were green, but yeah, they're like a really deep green. Or at least evokers are. I think they're. I think there's even a darker. Put it here. Make his nose really long. Man, it's just the way it is. Some dark green. That's really scary. There's not enough room for the white. I guess we have to imagine it. Oh no. That's not right. Oh, really funny. Oh wait, that actually fixes it though. Okay. Yeah, we'll run with it. Or it's a little too tall, but what are you gonna do? Like the forehead should be like 4 more pixels. Okay, so this is gonna be a new trait. Kind of a little bit of a spoiler. And I don't know if I'm gonna use it right away. I just want to get it built into the game. Thinking I might make it actually buff Iron Golem by giving him more or like lower cost, but give him this trait, which is draw shield, defensive, and the let me grab it. I don't know, darker gray or something. It's not the same as defensive is kind of going to be an interesting one, and it kind of goes against the philosophy of the latest update. But what it is, you don't advance if you kill your target. So if you got Iron Golem fighting, I don't know, an Illager. There we go. We just talked about Illagers. If the Iron Golem kills the Illager, and you're the one moving, then the Iron Golem won't move. And why that's important from a gameplay perspective is it opens up the opportunity for a higher attack entity that you kind of have to waste, like you have to be a little bit more protective of. The reason we want something like that is it synergizes with Piston or Haste or Sticky Piston or Minecart, where you can move and attack the same turn, when normally if you moved there, the entity, or if you killed the entity that turn, you would still be, like, let's say that entity is surrounded by 2 from the previous turn. by 2 entities. Normally, if you kill one of the entities, you'll be moved to that position and may be a little bit more free. So you have 2 options for kind of saving the entity. With a stat like this, it would make it so a mob couldn't do that, and then he would still be vulnerable, or it would still be vulnerable. Like I said, I don't know if we're gonna fully add this, like if it's gonna be a good stat, or if it's gonna be something that like no one likes. Which, I mean, far be it from me to add something that no one likes. No. But I'm hoping it'll create a couple entities that are already used this way, and we can strengthen them that way. So you can't like also use them as an attack. You can, but it's a little bit more cumbersome to do so. Which is like the design philosophy around this latest update is going to be making the game faster. The game runs at a snail's pace right now. And I don't know. I'm not sure if this is gonna, like, if anything we do can fix it, or if it's gonna be a big problem, or what. Okay, the next stat is going to be, it's new, but it's already in the game. I make this orange. How do we make this brown? Drag it over here. There we go. Yeah, that'd be fine. And this is lunging, which is, I was like, how is this already in the game? We already have this ability. We use copper. Nah, let's use maybe stone. Well, we have a lot of gray. Maybe diamond. We could do gold, actually. That'd be fun. Do gold. Not very much yet. How do you do that? I mean, that kind of works, right? What if we do it like this? Yeah, it looks kind of lopsided. That's just really fat and goofy looking. So lunging is going to be the same as goat and camel. And that's going to be reworked too, I'm hoping. There's been complaints of that. It's just simply not a good not a good ability or thing that can work. Doesn't look like a pointy on both sides thing though. Problem with looks like a fan. I don't know how to draw a spear. I mean, I can draw one, but being this low on pixels is not making it easy. This actually I don't mind, especially if we do something like that. Oh, what the heck? Maybe something like that could be, and it looks like at the other end is actually also like that. Sure, why not? Music is going kind of hard, or a little too blue. We'll make it, and then we'll grab a little bit of darkness. Saturated. There we go. I'm gonna call it a day. Well, let me darken this as well. I don't mind that. That's actually, that's all right. So this would be lunging. Hoping that's how you spell lung, not lunging. Okay. And that kind of brings us to our last two. They're kind of, I don't know if I'm gonna add them. There's unselectable and unbuffable. So these are two traits that already exist in the game. There's only one card I think that has both of them. Let me send this back. Swap to here. See the items I was grabbing for reference. Let me see. I think it's, yeah, right here. So technically TNT is an entity. You can't select it. You can't buff it. But it can be pushed. Walls can be, or buildings can be pushed too. So it's not a silver bullet, so to speak. So it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I want to make it visible. Like unselectable, that to me that just doesn't make sense to have on any card. I can't think of a card that like not being able to select it would be something that all the particles. Something that could make sense. But unbuffable definitely does. Like, imagine something, an effect, or an attack where you give your enemy's opponent unbuffable. Like, that would be kind of brutal. But it's only one unit, right? So maybe if they're trying to put all of their eggs in one basket, that entity couldn't make it. Entity would just have problems. So I don't know. I'm kind of toying with that idea. I'm probably not going to add it today. I'll think about it a little bit more. They're good traits. I like them. Like from a technical how they work, very easy to implement. I guess I should say. That being said, I think we're done. Wait, music. Songs of Tales? Yeah, sure. Why not? So yeah, maybe we'll change the display for these cards. I think the, like, we see just the green, which is the rarity. Or the blue. That's not blue, that's orange. The orange, or the blue, or the purple. Or the dark gray for the legendaries. I'm thinking maybe we want to leave that ring on the outside of the card. I could also make it so that they expand. No, I can't really do that, can't. Let me think. So yeah, we've got easiest way would be to I've got options. I definitely have options. What? So I think no matter what, this will have to be a separate model, which is fine. So let's go ahead and get that started. Or if I deleted that one. Models, item. So that would be, yeah, and cards. And then we have templates. Let me find these real quick. I do have a GUI template still. Okay, good. So I gotta open up Blockbench. I guess I can just Double click that. Don't have a don't have a window capture set up for Blockbench. That's kind of not good. Here, can I freeze the stream? There we go. Make it not visible. That's the best. Visible? But you can see the GIMP GIMP below it. That's kind of... Let me go ahead and resize this. It's not technically full screen, but there we go. It'll be like 1 or 2 extra. Okay, so this is the card template, which is just a normal card. That is kind of a problem. Click on that side. Oh, that's why it looks like this should technically be that. Oh, and I gotta rotate the set it back here. That's better. Because the gold is supposed to be the same as the top. And see how this side is white all the way down to the bottom? Copy this and this side. I'll just paste it. That way it wraps around. Okay. It's a bug, don't tell. That one's good though. Okay, so we've got this. We definitely don't really need this or this or this or any of this stuff. I don't even know if I want this. Do I want these? No. But we will copy. And we have all these empty. This is the image, so that's the actual picture taken for the entity. And technically an entity can have 6 visible traits. I made it that many because I don't think any entity is going to have that. The most I think is 3 with the Wither. It's got Undead, Wither, and Fireproof. Which I think is great that we can do 3, but 6 will be fine. And I think we just do the building, or the type. For that here. Name it to type. And type will be moved here. And let's make it... It's technically the same texture as these, which... When it's zoomed out far enough... 2x2? Maybe even 2.5x2. Let's go back to 2x2. Okay. So this is type. And do I have a sure. Item card. Trait. Open up trait, and let's go ahead and throw in like trap, for example. We'll throw that into this UV and exit out. So this is like, oh, this is a trap. It's a trap. There's some Mixel stuff going on here. That's really hard to avoid. Like, and I kind of don't care. This will be the most egregious example of that. So if we imagine the whole card zoomed out to just a single icon, it would look kind of. So if we look at display, we don't want to change how it looks here. It's just in UI. And was that 2.5? Let's try 2.5. Anyway, that way you can see the whole outline, I think. It'll be visible that way. Okay. Let's go ahead and try that. And the main trick with Relics is it uses so many parents, which sounds interesting. Sounds like it's what's going on. Okay. I thought I had VS Code on here as well. Let's see if we can add source, a window capture. We'll make it invisible just to make sure. Might not be selectable. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Ooh, there's some spoilers in here. These are ideas, so don't let me check that. They're not built into the game yet. I close all these actually. I do have some changes. Let's zoom out. Actually, what we were trying to do. If I can open this here. Okay, perfect. So here we have, this is kind of what every model looks like. We've got the different textures, back, armor 0, cost, empty, and then here we have item, trait, trap. If we look down here, we've got hashtag rarity, okay? If we look at the output of models, we'll look at Anvil, for example. This is generated. So it basically says for every model in the game, one of these gets created, and I can automatically, with a generator, say, okay, the texture of the description is going to be the Anvil description. The cost of the Anvil is 7. The rarity is common. So these just point to the exact texture they need to. Very simple. It works great. And I don't have to make 1,000 models that are all of that data, because all of this data right here is going to be the whole model. I don't have to do that. They just work. So, because of all of this, let's go ahead and look at background. Maybe we do type as the texture. So instead of anytime that says this, well, actually, 23, couple of, nope, just one. So here, instead of using the texture above, we just use hashtag type. And so this will not work, right? With, we'll delete this. We don't need that texture anymore. Because this is a reference, so 0 is the back of the card, and there's a bunch of that use 0 right here. So, with all of that said, we can now go to the a little bit more advanced thing, which is using close that too. If we open up models, nope, Minecraft items, cards, and why not set up Anvil? That's the one I like. So here is kind of a this is how a model or an item description, what's the item reference? This is how these work. I've got I think it's items definition, right? So we can do something like this, which is it says when it's in the GUI, we use just a completely different model. Why reinvent the wheel, right? But as a fallback, we'll use the actual. So we'll do this and go ahead and make the other model this, but we'll do we want it anvil underscore GUI? Do we want it cards? What if we do cards underscore GUI / anvil? Maybe we'll do it this way. And now this will work. So we're saying, hey, when it's in the GUI, use this model. When it's not, use this model, which this is the normal one. The problem with that is now you have to have 2 models for every card, which, I mean, is fine. The other way, I just scaled the GUI to be different, but this is a cleaner way because then we can make it a completely different item. Okay, so let me go ahead and create that model just real quick. And why not just copy and paste the whole cards folder? Name it cards underscore GUI. So Anvil here, we don't want a consumable template. We want it to just be GUI template as the parent. We keep all the textures. We don't need to add references or to remove any of them. But we will want to set type to be item / and I think where was it? Card / trait? No, yeah, trait / attack. I think that's it. If it's not, we'll know. We will know. Okay. So running back into Minecraft, we're going to stop the music that's been jamming out. And now none of the cards should. Well. Okay. Okay. Just Anvil doesn't work. Great. That's not what I like to see. So let me see. I'm reading the. Said unable to bake item model. Why not? Okay. I typed this in wrong. Still the same. Looking at the fallback should work. Double check item cards GUI item cards. The fallback should work no matter what. What if we let's go ahead and let's set it up like that. So now it's using, no matter what, it's using, yeah, this card, which is fine. The cards GUI didn't want to be baked. The parent is item cards GUI template. Make sure that exists. Yeah, looks like it works. Let me go ahead and see if I can load up Anvil. Okay, so it looks like it's working. But maybe it's the traits that it didn't like. Actually, I can delete that and by temp. We'll just try it real quick. We'll save it. Back to this. Same. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now we can see, and we can kind of scoot it down, or scoot it back up a little bit. This is what it could look like. So you've got the cost, and you've got the type it is. Now the type could actually be bigger. I think the cost could be bigger too. So I could scale those both up. So when you're looking in here, this is what they could all look like. How do I feel about that? Do I like that? I think I do. Let's see if we can modify the cost. Back to, I guess, GIMP. So first of all, the display, let's go ahead and bring it back up a couple quarters. Then this, yeah, why not make it 2.5? Guess I can bring that right up against there. And then wonder if I can scale these up properly. This is confusing because these are not the same not the same size on the X and the Y. I'll just try scale. Transform, scale. What's that doing? What's going behind the card? Well, it's behind the face, I guess. Maybe like 1.5. Why did it bring it? Doesn't really matter what these are. Yeah, so we have a little bit of a problem where these are not playing nice with each other. Kind of like that. That's a little too much, though. Scale it. 000 is my pivot. Let's try 1.2. Yeah, that I think I can make work. Kind of finicky. Yeah, that lines up. This lines up. Oh, it's just a mile away from the card. What's the Y? 8.95. Same. Okay, let's try that. And if we like this, maybe we'll wrap it up pretty soon. Yeah, see that made it a little bit bigger. If we look at the number here, it kind of stinks because I would like to make it even bigger, but because of the nature of the layout, if there's two numbers, then that would just never work. I do think the ring is perfect. I didn't want the gold on it. It's a little distracting because I could turn the GUI of this chest itself into something like that. I don't want to cover up the image with the attack icon. So I think this is about as good as we can get. What that means is now that that's set up, to create any of these, it shouldn't be too difficult. It will take, with the items definition, it will take some time getting that set up, to copy everything, to set them up. And also, now I have two models for everything, but the models are not actual models. They're just textures, right? Or just references to the model with a list of textures. So that I don't think will be a problem at all. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. All right. I'm gonna ask just a few questions at the end here, and anybody that was patient enough to watch through this whole thing, figuring out textures and everything, and I'll refine all of this stuff as needed. But anybody that's watched all the way to the end knows that this lobby has been like this kind of since the map's release. I want to give it the kill streak lobby treatment. So that would mean, how I teleported. That would mean make it really cool, make it more interactive, add some fun things to do. Like there's the parkour, but as you're waiting on someone to build a deck, you need a lot of little fun things to do in the lobby. So big parkour cores, maybe even several, like a main one and then like kind of a secret one. But what's the theme gonna be? I don't know. I'm trying to come up with ideas for it. I kind of want to symbolize like everything. We run back in the lobby. I really like everyone playing the game. Of course, they're not playing with anyone, which is kind of sad, but but here's like me, and I made this model with the actual board design on it. I like this. I think this is a good visualization for how the game can work, or it kind of lends people into the way the game looks. Got Pink Rock's over here with the card that's glitching through his arm and his leg. But yeah, here's kind of a symbolized. You join the play area. One player is blue, one is red. I need to look at the randomization for that too. I'm always player one. I don't know why, if it's because I joined first. But yeah, we'll fix that. And I like this kind of collector's area. You get card packs you can buy. How do we want to redesign the lobby? So over here, I created, I changed the card model so that they look really cool on shelves. do we want to do a kind of nerdy card collecting shop? And that's where you walk around. There's like an area to play. You sit down at an actual bench, and then that teleports you to the arena. Do we want to do something like that? Maybe. I don't know. That's the best idea I've come up with, is like a real world card collecting shop. But anybody that watches this, I'm all ears. any ideas for how we can make this lobby? I don't know. Feeling a little Minecraft 1.15. I've grown my skills quite a bit since I built this. And up here, all of the wonderful people that helped test, and all of the wonderful people that Patreon supported. That was awesome having them. Like, with Minecraft maps, you don't make money from them. But people that felt like it was worth enough to actually donate. And then all the translations. So we've got all these. I want to keep as many of these things as possible. Here's all the playtesters. There's tons of them. So with all of that being said, I appreciate everyone for watching, for coming and joining, especially the VOD. I don't think anyone said a single message in this chat, which is fine. I don't expect everyone to be here. And I guess have a good rest of your day. I will see you later.